everybody. I'm Paris, and this is Keep It Social. And every week we're going to be talking about what's trending on your timelines. And here with me to help do that is Terrence. Hey, Terrence, how are you?
I'm good. I'm great. It's our first episode, very first one.
Right.
It's kind of wild.
I'm excited.
You know?
We've been working really hard up to this moment, so I'm glad it's finally happening.
I know. It's kind of wild that it all like came together.
Especially during this
we just get to talk to friends every week, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm really, impressed by us that we're doing this in the middle of a pandemic. It's really cool. And
yeah,
I think we're going to make magic.
Right. Groundbreaking.
Awesome. Well, let's get into some of these topics we've got today. Everything from celebrities and misinformation to a new social platform called AllSocial. I'm really excited to talk about it. I hope you are too.
Of course. Always. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So joining us today are Nicole. Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
How are you?
Doing good.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. And Philippe is also with us. Hello again.
Hey, Paris. Hey, Terrence. How are you guys doing? Very excited for the show. Nicole, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm really glad to be here.
Awesome.
Right.
We're super excited. This is our first episode, and so let's get right into it. A new study from the Reuters Institute in the UK concluded that celebrities and politicians were key distributors of misinformation about COVID-19. Now, we all follow our favorite celebrities on social media, but do we hold them accountable for what they post? And should we take what they say at face value, especially when it comes to topics like this?
I think a lot of people don't. Well, I do. Let me speak for myself about my favorite celebrities, right? I am very particular about celebrities that I really consider myself a fan of, just because I feel like in one respect or another, they're like a reflection of some parts of me, right?
Totally.
So if my favorite celebrity, Nicki Minaj, if she were to post a lot of misinformation about COVID-19, it would make me look at her a lot differently, or misinformation about anything, right? Because they have a platform, they have a lot of influence, they have a lot of people who take what they say to heart. And so, it just comes with a lot more responsibility. So,
Definitely.
Right.
And if the fans don't hold them accountable, who will?
That's a great question. Nicole, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think fans need to hold them accountable, and I think they need to hold themselves accountable, right? I mean, like you said, they have a responsibility. They have this platform. So anytime that they're posting, and maybe they don't mean to, right? I feel like most of them don't mean to post false news, but they do, right? They're just retweeting something or sharing something they've seen, but they haven't vetted it.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah. So I hope, at least, let me clarify, all the influencers and celebrities I follow, I hope aren't purposefully spreading false news. But they have the responsibility where they should go and vet and verify before they post and share to their platforms. And then also all of us audience, we do need to hold them accountable, and we need to check and vet everything as well.
Yeah, I think that's the key right there, because I really like Woody Harrelson. I think
it's great.
True Detective. He's great. But he can't go around saying that 5G towers are spreading, the coronavirus, and we can't just accept that.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we have to be more proactive in questioning what these people are saying, because deep down they're just like, they're just like us. If my neighbor said that 5G towers spread the coronavirus, I wouldn't believe him. So why would I believe, Woody, just because, he was on Cheers?
Yeah. The one thing about Woody is, right, even in his post, at his comment that he added in, he's like, I haven't even fully vetted this yet. But he thought it was interesting.
Well, why are you posting it?
Right.
Dude.
Right? I know. It's like, if you haven't fully vetted it, you're completely sharing something false.
Right.
Yeah. And I guess it's as we all kind of do, we contribute to the public discourse, and maybe they see themselves in just doing that too. But again, because they have this platform, because so many people turn to them for information and trust them in so many ways, just for pure reason of liking them so much, you got to take on that responsibility and be aware of it.
Yeah. And that study said that celebrities were only responsible for 20% of the posts about
COVID-19.
but they were responsible for 69% of total social media engagement. So it's really a matter of reach, right?
Right.
It's that, we said Woody, but it's like all these celebrities, they have a lot of followers, and in many cases their following is stronger than, for example, a news organization that would vet them and say, oh, well, no, there's no proof. But it's all reach and accountability.
Right.
I mean, it's true. Like, actually, like countries like Finland, to stop the coronavirus, have actually been working with influencers because they recognize that influencers and celebrities have a greater reach than their own government. So instead of going to traditional news sources, the country of Finland has been working with like 1,500 influencers to try to spread correct information and reach the audiences differently.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about that before. In the past, about like the WHO kind of connecting with influencers to help spread information about the coronavirus.
Yeah.
I think it gets a little scary to me though, when we think about like putting so much trust and faith in like influencers and kind of like letting them lead the charge, that makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, I mean, I think there needs to be partnerships, right? So like the influencers need to partner with who, so the who can give them trusted information, or partner with, government agencies to get trusted information. I think that's an important factor too.
Right.
Yeah, that's really an interesting way to look at it. Philippe, are you going to say something?
No, I was just going to say, I guess it's too bad that we live in an era of mistrust, right? Where no one trusts government, no one trusts academia, no one trusts science, no one trusts anyone. We trust these celebrities and these influencers, but we don't trust the WHO. It's like it's
it's a mixed bag. It is a mixed bag. Yeah. Well, I hope we at least can all trust ourselves and trust our own gut and take on the responsibility of vetting this information before we post it somewhere.
Right.
All right, Nicole. Well, before we let you go, I have to ask you about that guitar in the background.
Yeah, of course. So me and my husband are both guitar. We both play the guitar and enjoy music all together. I love Terrence kind of air guitaring. We also music so much. That gold record that you'll see too in the background is actually Kenny Rogers, and it's signed by him. Yeah.
So cool. Rest in peace, Kenny Rogers.
Okay.
Exactly.
Shall we say?
Yeah. Good classic artist.
Yes. Well, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that with us. And thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Take care.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
There's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to COVID-19, but one thing that looks pretty obvious is that we're heading towards a recession, the first in the influencer economy. Brands have already pulled ads and won't hire influencers who can't drive sales. So what will the influencer market look like post-outbreak? Here with us to talk more about that is Valentina, who's joining us from Venezuela. Hi, Valentina.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being with us. So why don't you tell us? I mean, you work in this space. What are you thinking about this influencer recession?
Honestly, I don't know if I would call it a recession. I do think this is going to change the industry drastically, but I don't know if it's going to be a negative thing necessarily, Maybe I feel like a lot of influencers can actually take advantage of this. Not that it is a good situation at all, but I feel like we'll find a way to work differently in the future when all this is over.
Yeah, definitely. That's
so what are some things since you said that, I'm thinking about, how are you, because you're a content creator, how are you going to readjust? I mean, have you thought that through about like you yourself from your own personal brand or your own personal content?
Yeah, and I think it's starting now. It's not that we're going to wait until this is over. From now on, I've seen a change, and I feel like I've had to change my content a lot. I feel like influencers from now on have to be a lot more mindful of whatever you're posting. People they don't want to see the same stuff over and over again. I feel like now you have to be more real. You have to stop doing like showing things you have and just being more aspirational and focus on being
and right into that point, really tap into the moment, because this is a tough time for a lot of people. So just kind of, I imagine it doesn't really seem right to be marketing things in the way that people were before.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like so many things are going to change from like prices. I feel like prices are already going down for sure. Influencers are going to have to charge way less. And I think it's already happening because needs are changing and brands have different budgets and people have different needs. So that's a big change, I think, that's going to happen in the industry.
And Valentina, and first of all, hola y bienvenida.
Hola. Gracias.
What were the, before COVID-19, like what was like a going rate for a post? Do you know, like how much would an influencer make on a campaign or just by, a one-off post?
Honestly, it's different for everyone. I feel like everyone was charging whatever they feel like they were worth. A couple of years ago, it was about $100 per 10,000 followers. But last year, I feel like it went crazy. I asked my friends and their rates were all over the place. But something I do feel like it's going to be more, not like you be able to notice a little bit more, is that it's going to be instead of short-term campaigns, more long-term ones. And brands will want influencers to commit to them, and not just to the brand, but to a concept, to an idea. So if you're posting about this shampoo, it's not going to be like, oh, every week I love a different shampoo. Like you have to commit with a brand, with a concept, and with whatever it's behind the brand.
So
I like that idea. I really like that. For someone who like enjoys social media, follows a good amount of influencers where they like their title is influencer, or if they're one by default, like celebrities, seeing them post and sign on to different brands every other week is just really tiresome.
It's not real.
Jarring.
Yeah. So I like the idea of them signing on to something and being committed to it. And also like a point that you made earlier about not being like this flashy person that, we're seeing so much of, or we've seen so much of previously, but something that's real and relatable and feels more like who we are genuinely as people.
Yeah, I feel like people have to be more vulnerable too on social media, so people can connect with you and with like show emotions, show real stories, show who you are, so people can actually connect and feel like you are together in this and whatever it's going to happen next.
Right.
So it kind of sounds like the idea of what an influencer is might even change going forward from this. And Valentina, it's interesting that you kind of don't even like the term influencer. Why is that?
I don't. So I started about 5 years ago, and I would call myself just like a YouTuber, because that's what I used to do, just YouTube videos. And I was like, yeah, I'm a YouTuber. And then this whole influencer term came into my life like 3 years ago. And I was like, it's a really big word. Like, I feel like it's a lot of responsibility, and not that I'm not responsible with whatever I say on social media, but it's a big word, and I don't feel like it fits me or a lot of people.
Yeah.
So,
well, it'll be interesting to see how the field evolves going forward. I mean, a lot of things are going to change coming out of this pandemic, so we'll have to keep watch and see what happens.
Yeah.
Valentina, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time, and we hope that you're staying safe.
You too. Thank you so much for having me again.
Cuídate.
Gracias.
There's a new kid in town. AllSocial is a new social media platform promising users a more authentic experience without selling their personal data or using algorithms to filter content. So essentially, what you see is what was posted. Is there room for a new social platform, though? I mean, can AllSocial really break from the pack, or will we forget about it in a couple of months? To talk more about this, let's bring in Marissa to the panel. Hi, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Pretty good, good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
So Marissa, what's your take on this?
I think it's a really interesting idea that is clearly trying to fix a lot of the problems with Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, especially because they're so algorithm driven. You're not going to be able to see everything you post. I know I get really aggravated when I see like a link, like a picture for an article that's sharing breaking news, but it's 2 days later and it's finally showing up on my feed. It's definitely an issue in mainstream social media. I just don't know if it's going to have the reach that it promises, because maybe 5% of your audience seeing something on your Instagram feed is still going to be more than 100% of people seeing it on AllSocial, because not a lot of people have even heard of it.
Right, exactly.
Well, and isn't that the whole point of the thing, is that you want to hear more from those 5% of people than from the rest of the 95? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I have hundreds of friends on Facebook. I'm not really friendly with all those people.
Yeah, it's kind of like see the same few people.
I really only care about, like, you know, that select
10.
group that I do.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. So, like, I don't know, like, isn't that a good thing? Like, you hear more about the people that you engage with and interact more often?
I guess it depends on who you ask, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's person to person.
Well, I asked you.
Well, let me
answer
answer you, sir. For me, I think it's better to just have those people that I really connect with, that really, participate in my social media experience. They comment, they share, we, do all that kind of fun stuff online. I also think, though, a lot of people enjoy just having a number count as far as followers are concerned in particular. Especially when we get into the conversation around content creators, influencers. Like, you just want as many as possible, right? Because only a certain amount, a certain percentage are actually going to engage. So if you increase your number of followers, the likelihood of you increasing that engagement is that much better. So I don't see a lot of people necessarily jumping to AllSocial by any means.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm still, I guess, trying to feel my way around how it really is going to be different. Like, I appreciate the whole filtering out the algorithms. I think it's nice to try to be authentic and not censor people as much. But I went and signed up on AllSocial just to see what it was looking like. And it reminded me kind of Tumblr.
Oh my God, I had the exact same thought.
Yeah, and then I was kind of like, why don't I just get on Tumblr?
It's got a very Tumblr, Pinterest, like old Instagram vibe.
Yeah.
But it's also like, we have evolved from those social medias. I know, like, I signed up too, and you choose your interests, fashion, books.
Right, exactly. Which,
but my Instagram's now, it's curated. It's not just that I like food, it's that I like Bon Appetit's Instagram and the New York Times food Instagram account. Whereas I was just seeing like a random picture of some like sausage pasta that popped up on AllSocial, and it didn't feel personal to me yet. I'm sure if I used it more and liked and commented and started, but I guess maybe not, because there's no algorithm. So if and maybe never mind.
You'll see everything.
Yeah. Exactly. And your friends would also have to sign up and get on there too, so that you could see it and make it feel more personal.
Right. And how many of our friends are going to leave whichever platforms we use the most to go on AllSocial? I mean, a lot of people aren't leaving Facebook. That's a committed community.
Right.
They're not leaving Facebook.
That's true.
But they go to Instagram, which is owned by the same company and uses the same algorithm.
Yeah.
And in that, the people that would go to AllSocial are the people that are concerned about Facebook selling our data.
Right.
And that's something that AllSocial said, that we're not doing that, which was like major shade at Facebook. Like, we're not doing that. We're not storing your data. So I think that's kind of like how they get people. It's social, but it's also private.
Yeah. But I'm wondering, even if it's like taking a stab at Facebook or saying we're not going to do what Facebook.
Oh, totally. I think that's definitely
people care enough, though, right? If users care enough, if they truly, people say they care about their data being mined and all this other kind of stuff, but do you truly care enough to delete your accounts or not, or change your settings?
Terrible. Right. I don't care. And guess what? It shows me an ad for something on a website I looked at a few days ago, and I buy it. I do. Because guess what? It's my favorite store. It reminded me of the item. It showed me more stuff that I like. It's sad.
Yeah.
I don't love the idea of it. I really enjoy the execution. It makes my life a little better.
It's a double-edged sword,
Yeah,
it's convenient. It helps out, but it takes away as well.
So hot take time. In 6 months, are we going to be talking about AllSocial, or we would have forgotten?
Who knows? I mean, because I remember when Twitter first came out, people were kind of talking about it, but it was nowhere near as big as it is now. And that was years ago. And now everyone's on Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter, you're trying to create a little burner one just so you can see all the cool content that's on there. So it might just take some time.
It might. I mean, you all, I don't know from what Marissa and Paris, from what you said about, I haven't signed up for AllSocial, but it doesn't sound too exciting.
For me, it really depends if other mainstream people are going to come over. If celebrities, if publishers go over to AllSocial and I get the content I'm used to there, sure, I'll go out there. But right now, there's nothing. And no friends, no nothing. It's not engaging enough for me.
Desert.
It's lonely when it's supposed to be all social. It's all lonely, at least for the time being. Well, we'll wait and see. Marissa, thanks so much for joining us. It's always good to see you.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
You too. And Philippe, thanks to you as well. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, guys. Have the rest of a good show.
This week in Unintended Consequences, people everywhere are participating in the Class of 2020 Challenge, where they share photos from graduation or a senior moment to show support for students who won't have a traditional ceremony. When sharing these photos, they're also sharing important dates, names, and places that hackers are using to access their personal information. Yikes. So I'm pretty sure that's not what people intended to see happen when the challenge started. Terrence, are you posting your cap and gown pictures?
No, primarily because I didn't get to take my cap and gown pictures this year. I'm one of the graduates, you know, so I'm one of the sad people who didn't have that moment. And even from my past ceremonies, I haven't posted anything. If I were, I don't think I would share like special moments about my experience, so like undergrad or high school. But it's sad that even when these people are posting this without thinking about it, that someone would like take advantage.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it just sucks that this is a time where people were trying to add some levity and some fun to the current situation, and that they're being taken advantage of. But I guess at the same time, you have to ask, you know, why didn't people think twice when they were sharing this type of information, and sort of maybe think about, oh, hey, like, these are the passwords to my bank account or to my email address. These are kind of those security questions that you ask, like what high school did you go to? Where did you who's your best friend? That kind of thing. I guess you're just not thinking about that.
Right. And I also think it's important to point out that a lot of the people that I see participating in this have been out of school 10, 20 plus years.
More like class of 1982.
Right, it's like class of 1979. Girl.
Live and live, Terrence. Come on.
You know, they're making this moment about them when it's supposed to be, you know, a sign of support. And it's sad that, you know, people are using this moment again, like they're using our moment. Someone else is using their moment now to co-opt their information and like, you know, steal important stuff. And of course, those two things aren't the same.
Right. But it's still sad. It's still kind of, it sucks to see it. So.
Everybody's still in everybody's moment.
And that's a shame. Even during, well, hopefully people will think twice before they do that going forward.
Yes, they should.
Yeah. This week in Now Trending, art comes to social media. When the Getty Museum closed in response to the coronavirus, they asked their social media followers to recreate a work of art with people and objects from home. Keep the art alive, so to speak. It's pretty amazing what people are finding at home to make this happen. Where's your art, Terrence?
My art is non-existent, okay? Unless they want me to build something out of a couple of forks, a lot of boxes, and maybe some shirts and pants that I have, you know, I don't think it's going to be that stellar. I don't think it's going to.
It might be though. I could see this. I could see this vision shaping up for you.
I'm glad someone can see it because I don't. Okay. But shout out to the people who are making it happen. With that, where's your art?
Some really cool ones going on.
Where's your art? The people want to see it.
Well, you're looking at it.
Oh. Okay. Now.
Quite frankly.
Yeah. I think it was a cool way to like get people out of, you know, I'm stuck at home bored kind of thing. Like it's
true.
It's the museum's way of like creating a social media challenge, of course.
Right.
Yes.
And it's a good way to help people connect. I mean, I imagine for families who have like young children, it might be a nice way to show them, oh, like this is this piece of art, and it's a cool way for them to engage with that.
Right, right. So I'm not upset about it at all. But like I said, my apartment is kind of like I have a couch and a TV, art.
For some, hey, art is what you make it.
Exactly.
And what you should do, you should create something and then post it to that Twitter account that's like it's called like Art Determiner or something, or like what is art? I can't remember the handle exactly, but they'll reply and say art, or I guess they'll say not art.
Okay, so if I get not art, I'm blaming you.
Oh, you know what? That's fine. I can take that. We'll see. That's it for us. Thank you all so much for watching. You've been a part of something really beautiful, our very first episode. And there's so much more to come, and we hope you'll be along for the rest of the ride. So stay tuned, and please make sure you keep us posted on what's trending on your timelines. We'll see you next week. And until then, Terrence, what should they do?
Keep it social.
A production of WGBH.